How do you find height, slant height, and edge length in pyramids? Imagine building a pyramid out of blocks. To understand its size and shape better, you need to find some important measurements like height, slant height, and edge length. These are key to figuring out the pyramid's volume and surface area. Let's break down how to find each one step by step. First, the height of a pyramid is the straight line from the very top point, called the apex, down to the middle of the base. If the pyramid is a right pyramid, meaning the apex is right above the center of the base, you can find the height using some simple triangle tricks. If you know the slant height, which is the length along the face from the apex to the middle of a side, you can use the Pythagorean theorem. This theorem helps you find the height by squaring the slant height and subtracting the square of half the base edge. The formula looks like this. The height equals the square root of the slant height squared minus half the base edge squared. Now, if you know the length of the lateral edge, which is the straight line from the apex to a corner of the base, you can also find the height. You do this by taking the square root of the lateral edge squared minus half the base edge squared. This works because inside the pyramid, the height, half the base edge, and the lateral edge form a right triangle. Next, the slant height is the measurement along the face of the pyramid from the apex to the middle of a side. If you already know the height and the base edge, finding the slant height is easy. You just take the square root of the height squared plus half the base edge squared. This is because the height, half the base edge, and the slant height form a right triangle inside the face. Finally, the edge length from the apex to a corner of the base, called the lateral edge, can be found if you know the height and the base edge. The formula is the square root of the height squared plus half the base edge squared. Remember, these calculations are specific to right pyramids where the apex is directly above the center of the base. Knowing these measurements helps you find the pyramid's volume, which is 1/3 of the base area times the height. It also helps you calculate the surface area, especially the lateral surface area, which depends on the slant height and the base edge. If the pyramid has a different shape, like a triangular base, the same ideas apply but with different formulas based on the shape of the base. The slant height always refers to the face's height, not the edge from the apex to the base corner. These relationships relying on the pyramid being a right pyramid, with the apex directly above the center of the base, making the inside triangles right angles. So, by understanding these relationships and formulas, you can measure and understand any pyramid size better. It's all about using the right triangles inside the shape and applying the Pythagorean theorem. This way, you can find the height, slant height, and edge length easily and accurately.